My husband doesn't know what's going on. The other gentleman does know that I am married, and I don't want to leave my husband, but I don't want to break things off with this other gentleman either.
So let me give you another side to this, okay?
Okay.
Number one, I don't think you love your husband. I don't. I think you love the idea of the security that 7+ years of quasi-stable relationship brings. I also think deep down you understand that you are with somebody of so little character that he doesn't mind blowing up another family so he can hook up with somebody. So I think you found yourself in a pretty dicey.
People like her need to stop being treated with sympathy when they've clearly made destructive choices. She's a married woman who chose to cheat. She knowingly tore apart her own family. Both she and the man she was involved with showed a complete lack of morals. And yet, somehow, all the blame is placed on the man, just to shield her from the shame of her own actions. One thing he did get right. She doesn't truly love her husband. She only loves the comfort and security he provides, all while sneaking around with other men behind his back.
Just one. And the child lives with him?
Yes, ma'am.
And you want the baby back?
Yes, ma'am.
How long has the baby lived with you?
The baby? It's been living the whole time.
Oh, okay. And how old is this child?
5.
5. Oh. And you expect to get child support?
Yes, ma'am.
And the child has been living with him for almost, it's a boy or girl?
Boy.
His whole life?
Yes, ma'am. Well, when I get my baby back, I want child support, yeah. He makes way more money than I do. I want my baby back and I want child support.
I'm sorry, you have to excuse me because nothing you're saying is making sense right now. You came to court to ask me to give a child back to you that was taken from you, that's 5 years old, that's pretty much lived with this man the entire time.
They took my baby away because my ex-boyfriend is an abuser and I'm not with him anymore, so I want my baby back.
My husband and I have been married for 17 years. We got to the biggest fight we've ever gotten into, ever, over our toilet water. You tell me if I'm overreacting, because I really don't think I am. Okay, so here's what happened. Every single time I go out of town, my husband's incredible. Like, I travel a lot for work. I come home. He's so great about cleaning the house, doing the laundry, keeping up with the kitchen. The house is always immaculate when I come home. Somehow this man got it into his head that, you know what would be really cool is if you put one of those giant blue hockey discs in the back of your toilet water so that every time you flush, the toilet comes out blue. The toilet water comes out blue. Like we live at a 7-Eleven or something. So I come home, I'm using, I go to the bathroom and I'm like, why is the water blue? And he's like, oh, I bought these things to put in the back of the toilet. I was like, what were you doing at the store? Looking at the aisle of all the things for cleaning items for the house where you thought that would be a good idea. Take me through that. He's like, you're making such a big deal. You're being so dramatic. I'm like, I am not being dramatic. So for a month, I'm flushing the toilet and it's still blue. And I'm complaining about it every day. I'm like, Nick, I can't live like this anymore. I cannot live with the blue toilet water. So literally, we're laying in bed the other night and I just go on TikTok, how do I empty the back of my toilet tank so I can, so that I can get rid of this blue water. I literally put in the search bar, how do I empty the back of a toilet tank? He gets up in a fury, oh my God, you're making such a big deal about this. When did you get so highfalutin? Blah, 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 blah. You've changed so much. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, changed so much. We live in a pretty nice neighborhood. It's 2024. What are you doing where you think this was a good idea? So that night, he emptied the toilet bowl somehow. I still don't know how to do it. And it's great. It looks good now in the main bathroom, but not the master.
This might surprise some of you, but I do think this is a big deal because that man is clearly not appreciated for anything more than toilet water. So yeah, I do think this is a big deal. That man is absolutely justified in his reaction. And honestly, he needs to set some boundaries to ensure respect and appreciation for everything he does in that relationship. And that man better not say sorry when it somehow gets turned around on him.
There is one thing pissing me off these days. What is up with people who cannot form their own opinions, so they have to go to comments and then be told what to think on things? No one can form their own freaking opinions now. They literally have to be told what to think, and then they become like full of rage or whatever, depending on what one person says about it. And it's just so obnoxious. It happened to me personally with blue toilet water. It wasn't an issue until one giant creator ditched it and gave a very strong negative opinion. Oh yeah, this is a terrible thing. And then everyone jumped on that train.
I was wrong. I've been humbled. I did apologize to him when he came home yesterday, and he was like, Jen, that was forever ago. Who cares? I was like, no. I was dramatic. I just want to tell you I'm sorry. That was a little too much this time. We're fine. On to the next fight. Just kidding. He's the best. Sweet, sweet man. Oh no, he got me. We've been gardening all day together. He really is great. I'm folding the laundry. See, I do things too, you guys.
So at least she apologized, but let me point out why this is a deeper issue. There has to be an underlying reason in order to get so upset about blue toilet water. I just don't think that the seriousness of this is being addressed. And a lot of people are in the comments, and I feel bad in a way to bring this up and to even do a second video on this, because I truly don't think that she realizes it. But people in the comments, I mean, they're being direct, but they're being fairly kind. Many of them saying that you're going to push a good man away, that you don't realize how good you have it. So whatever it is that's causing you to not see that and to not feel it, I hope it gets addressed, because that man does deserve a better you.
Don't be fooled by her apology. It's nothing more than a performance. Deep down, she still feels the same way. This is just damage control, a desperate attempt to protect her reputation after her post publicly shaming her husband completely backfired. Let's be honest. If things hadn't blown up the way they did, she wouldn't be apologizing at all. As Emily pointed out, no one gets that worked up over something as trivial as blue toilet water unless there's a deeper issue driving the anger.
My wife picked me up and she said, no, there's something that I need to tell you. And I said, is it bad? And she said, yes. And I said, is that about the marriage? And she said, yes. And then we began to drive back, and I had this sinking feeling in me. Drove for about 5 minutes in silence, and then I went to put my hand on her lap, and she said, don't touch me, because you won't want to after I've told you what's happened. And we got home, we got into the house, into the kitchen, and I was standing by the kitchen table, and I said, what's happened? And she said, I've been having an affair with a man from work. As tears began to stream. I didn't move. And then she said, and that's not all. And she said, I'm pregnant with this child. And in that moment, I felt like I lost a lot. You know, I'd lost my wife. I'd lost the life we created. I'd lost the dog, our home, her family, everything that I'd really held dear. If someone said, what makes a meaningful life? I would have described these things. And it felt like they'd just been snatched away, just came crumbling down like a house of cards.
We are living in a time that our ancestors dreamed of. We are able to work, make our own money, live on our own, be single, not get married, not have children. We're able to have those choices. And this is the first time in human history that women have had as much freedoms as we've had. We don't really need a man for anything. But with that being said, and I need you to understand, with that being the case, we are going to have, reform requires upheaval or some kind of disruption. So we are going to be disappointed with our relationships with men. That is the way it is. Until men catch up with the fact that we don't need them for these things, and therefore the way that they've been able to behave for the last centuries and centuries is not the way they're going to be able to behave anymore, that's going to take a while to click for them. So in that time that it takes them for that to click, we have to accept that we probably will not be able to have the kind of relationships with men that we would like to have. And that's okay. If we asked our ancestors what would they prefer, to have to marry a man, or to have his children, or to have freedom and maybe would not have relationships with men anymore, they would choose not to have relationships with men anymore. We are all probably going to have to accept that we need to stay single if we are going to demand what we are demanding from men. It's going to take a while for it to kick in for them to get the bigger picture. So that is the price that we pay, is that we have to accept that we need to stay single, or we are going to be chronically disappointed by these men who are still operating in an archaic way that they've been allowed to operate in for all of human history. These teachings and these social practices are very insidious. A lot of people behave and act on them very subconsciously. They don't realize that. Men have been able to get away with in the past that they can no longer get away with now because we do not need them for our livelihood. Men are used to being able to cheat. They're used to being able to lie. They're used to be able to assert their dominance on us. That's becoming less and less of the case. So until they catch up, we have to accept that we need to start pouring our energy and effort and our love into other things. As a woman in today's day and age, you should be focused on obtaining power. A lot of us are going to have to forgo children and marriage. Even if that's something that we kind of want, we're going to have to forgo that if we are to make the demands that we're making from men. And to me, that's okay. I'm so glad. I can't even express to you how grateful I am that we live in the time that we live in right now. But we have to keep pushing forward. Okay, so you need to be obtaining power. You need to be putting yourself on in life, and you need to be doing whatever you need to do to make that happen. So that means not having a boyfriend and going to school. That means not having a boyfriend and starting a business. That means not having a boyfriend and leading social causes. That's what that means, and that's okay. But you need to accept that this is a time that we cannot have our cake and eat it too.
They loudly claim they don't need men, yet continue to rely on them every single day. Life has become so comfortable for them that they no longer recognize who's actually making that comfort possible, whether directly or behind the scenes. Notice how she never clearly states what the so-called demands on men are. She just vaguely refers to them, because she knows how unreasonable they sound when said out loud. What really bothers her is that men are finally choosing peace, walking away rather than submitting to unrealistic expectations. They want to be strong and independent, yet still expect men to foot every bill. They demand equality, but are offended when a man doesn't give up his seat. They say they want equal responsibility, but throw a fit when held accountable. That's why you never hear respectable women complaining about the lack of good men. It's always the ones like her, pretending good men don't exist just to avoid confronting the truth.
To get out of at the end of your day. Marriage.
Is there a lawyer in the house?
Name something you do if your wife says she's pregnant with triplets.
Pack up.
Pack up, yes. Pack up, get the hell out of here. Tell me something that makes your husband cry.
When your mother-in-law is coming over.
Name something in your home that isn't working.
My wife.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I guarantee you'll love the next one. Don't miss it. I'll see you there.